It's 5:30 and we'll now bring the meeting to order. Thank you everybody for coming out. It's nice to see a full house. We need overflow seating tonight, but thank you for joining us. And we'll just begin with a moment of silence. Thank you all. If you will join me for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The first item is to approve the agenda. I have a motion from Mr. Joe Hart. Second by Ms. Bard. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Agenda is approved. And now the fun part. We'll turn it over to Ms. Carla for our recognitions.
Okay, good evening, board members and all you guests out there. There are several outstanding students here tonight with us that we want to congratulate and celebrate for a very successful summer that they've had. I want to begin, we've got several different groups. I'm going to begin with the Governor Scholar Program. As you know, the Governor Scholar Program is a summer residential program for outstanding high school students in Kentucky. Muhlenberg County is fortunate to have had 7 students who were selected and successfully completed the program. So students for Governor Scholar Program, when I call your name, I'm going to ask that you come up, receive a certificate from Ms. Orr. We're going to wait and do the pictures before we got a little more air. We're going to do it out in the hallway afterwards as groups, okay? So just hang on to your certificate and you can go and sit back down. All right, so I'm going to begin. I'm going to do it in alphabetical order. So I'm going to start with Isaiah Ball. And Isaiah, go ahead and clap. Is the son of Jason and Nika Ball, and he attended GSP at Murray State University. Then we have Carter Casebeer. Carter is the son of Byron Casebeer and Brittany Pierstorff. Casebeer, yes. Got it. He attended GSP at Murray State University. Then we have Quinn Fleming. Quinn is the son of Jimmy and Loretta Fleming, and he attended GSP at Murray State University. And then we have Miss Sarah Miller. Sarah is the daughter of Brent and Tammy Miller, and she attended GSP at Murray State University. Next we have, no, she didn't go to Murray State University. Where did she go? Moorhead. She went to Moorhead State University. Sorry. Then we have Addison Tudor. Addison is the daughter of Brad and Courtney Tudor, and she attended GSP at Moorhead State University. And then Addison Walker. Addison is the daughter of Ricky and Shayna Walker, and she attended GSP at Center College. All right. Get better. Jacob Whitehouse. Jacob is the son of Jeff and Gina Whitehouse, and he attended GSP at Center College. So that's all of GSP. Next we have 2 students who participated in the Governor's School for the Arts. For 3 solid weeks at the University of Kentucky, these students discovered the power of their art and their place as an artist. So we have Sarah Jo Armstrong. Is Sarah Jo with us? Okay, we'll clap for Sarah Jo. Sarah Jo is the daughter of Jason and Morgan Armstrong. And then we have Taylor Dukes. Is Taylor with us? Is the daughter of Nicholas and Terry Dukes. And then now we have GSE, which is Governor's School for Entrepreneurs. We had one student participate in GSE, which took place at Thomas More University, and it consisted of a 3-week residential program. The students, they immerse in a creative space and are armed with tools needed to unleash their entrepreneurial spirits for the betterment of Kentucky. So we have Molly Miller. Molly is the daughter of Brian and Emily Miller. And finally, we have one student with us who was selected for both, GSP and Murray State University's Commonwealth Honors Academy, and he chose the Honors Academy this summer. This program allows students to earn 6 hours of college credit and a 4-year full tuition scholarship to Murray State University, provided certain qualifications are maintained. It's a 3-week academic enrichment experience, and that person is Jackson Jones. Jackson, he's the son of Lee and Amanda Jones. We are so proud of these students for this accomplishment and for the parents who endured this time without them at home this past summer. I'm going to ask now for all of those that I've announced and families, if you will meet me out in the lobby, we'll take some photos, and then you all will be free to leave, or you can come back in for the rest of the board meeting. Thank you.
Congratulations. That deserves taking up.
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for coming, everyone.
Yes.
It means a lot to us.
Thank you. We'll be trying to go around here.
Look at the pretty moms. See you, Jimmy.
Now we gotta see Eric.
Yeah, now it's just Eric. At some point, yeah.
Okay, we are now ready for our treasurer's report.
No, that's not it.
You're not worthy of that now.
Check. Oh, yeah. Sorry.
You need glasses. You need Quentin.
That was good. I got it.
Mr. Soccer,
Hello?
Mr. Carver.
All right. Chairman Wells, board members, tonight I bring you the financials as of August 31st, 2024. Revenues this month, our beginning balance was $41.28 million. This is up by $3.5 million. Monthly receipts were $2.74, and that's down $3.44 from last month, $879,000 from the same period last year. Federal is down 1.2, state is up 115,000, taxes are down 1.3 million. Other revenues are down 153,000, food service is up 49,000, daycare is down 21,000 for a total of 44 million. Accounts payable was 2.6 million. This is up approximately 1.1 million when compared with the same period last year. Again, this is general fund and construction. construction. Significant bills in August were Tremco, which is the supplies for the roofing, was $934,984. Curriculum Associates, which is iReady, $288,516. Playcore, which was the materials for the playground at Longest, was $152,457. Timberland Passage, which is the gym floor at the middle school, $121,500. We're going to be getting most of that back, as well as the other portion of those that are going into that. Summit Engineering, $96,508. Fine Line Finishes, $74,852, and Old National Wealth Management was $68,899. Payroll was $2.928 million. This is up $97,000 versus August of '23. But if you recall, last August we were down, so we're only mildly up from fiscal year '22, which is good. It's really on track with what I was predicting. Accounts payable breakdown of all funds. Variable expense is about $2.1 million. Fixed and mixed expense is $469,000. Utility expense is about $69,000. Ledger balance, 38.5. Bank balance is about almost 30 million. That's 29.7. Outstanding checks of 2.3 million with the cash flows of 27.4. For the breakdown, general fund was 21.8 million. That's down about 1.2 million. Again, that was mainly that Tremco purchases and the playground equipment. Special revenue is down 303,000. Construction, down 1 million. Debt service was the 69,000. Food service, 139,000. Extended financial picture through January 2025, we expect to have about 35.1 million. Any questions?
Any questions for Mr. Bledsoe?
What's on the construction?
Excuse me?
What's on the construction?
What is under construction?
Yeah, what all is under construction right now?
Well, in terms of like what's being paid for, I guess? Is that
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the design phase for Longest, design phase on the field house, which was advertised. The cafeteria over at the middle school. Finalizing the cafeteria and baseball field, the high school, and
That's all right. That's good. Thank you.
yes, sir.
Any other questions? I have a motion from Mr. Rajiv. Could I have a second? Mr. Rajiv. Mr. Johar. Can I have a second? Second. Second by Ms. Hart. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion passed. And payment of bills and salaries.
September bills is $1,664,363.58. Of that, utilities about $123,000. Fixed and mixed expenses were $1.3 million. Variable expenses about $226,000. High dollar amounts in this one are preferred construction services, which was the labor for the roofing. That was done at the middle school and the high school. They did do a little bit of extra on the drains at both the high school and the middle school, so that's where you'll see a little bit of variance there. And Henson Construction, which is the middle school cafeteria of $149,860.
Thank you. Any questions on payments of bills and salaries? I'll need a motion for approval. Have a motion by Ms. Farr, second by Mr. Bowers. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Okay, it's now time for public participation. We have none. Okay. We will move down to the administrative report, Ms. Orr.
We'll start with Central City. Would you all, spotlight this month is Central City Elementary School.
Let Mr. Council know.
Well, I just found out today we could have our assistant principals lead this, so that's good to know for next year. So the bad thing, and by the way, thank you, board members, thank you, Ms. Orr, for allowing me the opportunity to come and speak about my school. I'm always thrilled to come and share the great things going on at Central City Elementary. Of course, the bad thing is we've only been in school for less than 4 weeks, so there's not a lot of things to highlight at this point in the year, but I do want to take a moment and just share with you, even though we've only been in school now 18 or 19 days, there are a lot of great things that have already taken place at Central City Elementary. So our theme for the year is Grooving for Success, and we have a motto that we say every single day. It's that you can't spell success without CCES. So we say that every single day. We have student leaders who share that, and so that's something that we believe. We want all of our students to be successful, and we know that the key are the things that, one of the keys are the things that we provide for them every single day at Central City Elementary. So as a part of our theme, we asked our teachers to decorate their doors to go along with the theme, and we asked them to take a picture of their door to submit that, and then I emailed all of our board members, as well as our central office staff, and asked them to vote for the one that they thought was the best. So our second grade, our second place, which is our third grade, so it's kind of confusing as you look at it. Third grade is Groovy, which is a little bit, it's cheating a little bit because they received a prize, and I was not going to buy 2 prizes for them. So thankfully they did come in second place. Our first place is Miss Erica Wilson's class, as you can see right there, and she has working headlights down here. So hers is, she's the 2-time reigning champion, so it's her title to lose next year. We had our book fair, and I know most of the elementary schools have had their book fairs already, and so we did something called Bring Your Grown Up to School. So grandparents, parents, aunts and uncles, family members were invited to the school, and our FRC coordinator, Ms. Vicki Taylor, pictured there, provided donuts, milk, and juice for our families that came, and that they were able to come and have breakfast with the children that they love the most that go to Central City Elementary. And then, of course, they were invited to shop at the book fair. And so that was a great day. We had, Mr. Calso, correct me if I'm wrong, about 370 people that came to our book fair that day. So it was a great day, big success. We had a lot of families that smiled and a lot of kids who bought things that got them in trouble later in the day. On September the 11th, we celebrated Patriots Day. We invited our students and staff to wear red, white, and blue. So you see a picture of some of our students there in the center picture that we put in red, white, or that we took a picture of them wearing their red, white, and blue. We posted that to our Facebook page, as well as we encouraged them to write letters to thank our first responders for their service and their willingness to put their lives in danger to protect ours. So you see some of the letters that were written right there. We're excited about the engaged learning that we have going on at Central City Elementary School. We have 3 pictures here of just a few activities that we wanted to do. The picture to the left is an activity that Miss Beagle's 5th grade class did called the Sculpture Garden. So they would get a vocabulary word and they had to act it out in order to learn the vocabulary word and understand what it means a little bit better. So that's a picture that she took of her students doing the Sculpture Garden. The picture in the center, all 1st grade students did. I unfortunately didn't get to see that. I was home. You know, school starts back and diseases come with it. So I was home sick that week. But we had our 1st grade students who were able to spell out things using Play-Doh, so they were excited to share that with us. And then the 3rd picture, the one to the far right, is Miss Wilkins' kindergarten class, and they're studying planting and growing vegetables and fruits. And to go along with what I just shared with you, we decided this year that we are going to control the narrative of what goes on at Central City Elementary. That's something that Mr. Calso and I and the leadership of the school, as well as the teachers, talked about. There are a lot of people who think they know what goes on in school. They think they know it because that's what happened when they were a student 20 years ago, 30 years ago. And education, just like everything else, has evolved. And so we are going to be very intentional this school year to show the great things that are going on in our school. So the picture there to the left is the staff at Central City Elementary School. We have a great staff. We have a staff who comes to school every single day, who love the students that come there and will do anything that they can to help them be successful. So that's the picture to the left. The picture to the right is one picture. We had 6 students who noticed that there was a lot of trash around our playground and our baseball fields at the school. And they were not in trouble. They chose to give up their recess in order to pick up the trash. Not all of their recess, let's not be crazy. But they gave up a portion of their recess to make our school look beautiful because they are proud of Central City Elementary School. And then the picture to the right, we do this every single day. We recognize leaders. And so we have our hashtag Rising Tide certificate, and the students are selected based on our profile of the learner, the categories within that. And so this is a student who was recognized today for being a leader at Central City Elementary School through the choices he makes and the leadership examples he sets. So I have a video that is not going to work. The sound, Mr. Wells and I fooled with it earlier, so I'm not going to play it for you, but I showed this to our staff on our opening day. And the point of the video says you are more than just. We don't want anyone at Central City Elementary to say I'm just. We are not just anything. You are not just a custodian or just a cafeteria worker or just a secretary or just a classified or just a principal or just a, you name it. We are all at school to make our students better. We value every single thing that every single student or every single adult and every single student at Central City Elementary brings. So this is a great video. This is Joe Sanfilippo. I hope I'm saying his name right. Okay, I say it wrong every single time. It's becoming a recurring thing. But Mr. Lyle presented us with a video at our administrators conference that we went to, not this school year, but last school year. And it was very inspiring. I absolutely loved it. Well, this year, he was at our administrators conference that we attended, and I was able to hear him speak. And you talk about a fantastic speaker, and he understands what it means to share with people the vision of the school and what great things are going on in our school, because we have kids who are learning, who are excited to be there, and great things are happening in Central City Elementary. Thank
So the next thing on our, on the agenda under superintendent's report is the construction update. And I'm going to turn it over to our 2 gentlemen at the door from Summit, and they're going to kind of share a little bit about kind of what's going on. You did come back.
Good evening. I'm Charles Mashman Jr. from Summit Architects, West Engineers out of Kentucky. Just want to give you a quick little update. Oh, I also have John, there it is, John Matthews. He also works there or something as well. We'll start out with the Longest Elementary demolition. We have the GC has the classroom wing demo. They're working on demoing the front main building. KU has put in the new temporary electric pole there as well. The new addition to the Longest Middle School, it's being done right now under the construction document phase. Then we have Muhlenberg Middle School, the cafeteria renovation. We have I think it's October the 6th and 7th that we'll start putting in the cable railing that is still left to be put into the countertops. Rework the lights. We kind of have them under the soffits now. We thought aesthetically it would look a little better to move it away from the soffits and level it out. And then we have the Muhlenberg Middle School field house, which is out to bid as we speak. So, any questions? That's perfect. Well, thank y'all.
Just to say, you do know the high school, the remaining items on the high school,
We had one sink that was put in yesterday. A&K put that in. There's one more sink that needed to be put in, but they had a broken arm that's underneath the sink, so they had to get that piece. And they're planning on putting that in tomorrow. The remainder items, it would be too difficult to complete those items while school's going on, so they're gonna wait till fall break, then they're gonna paint the entire kitchen. The color has been selected and approved, the paint's available. They're gonna clean everything where they replace the tile during the summertime, but they didn't want to do that at nighttime because it would be too difficult to get everything cleaned up and ready to go for the next day. So there is some punch list items. We've gone over that with Matt and A&K, and they're going to complete that during fall break, including the ball fields.
Thank you. Thank you all.
And, yeah, one last thing.
Keep going. Yeah.
For those that, the pre-bid meeting for the field house, that's on the 24th, and then the bid opening is
The house, the bid will be October the 8th.
October the 8th.
Pre-bid will be September 24th on site.
And then work will start.
Thank you.
All right, you all have in your folders my professional growth plan, so I'm just gonna briefly touch on that. When we finished up the year last year, did my evaluation, we talked about influential leadership being that next thing to work on. So this is the standard that falls under that. You all have the document that has all of the activities, so they're really kind of attending some political events, some community events, meeting with local representatives, subscribing to the legislative update and finding out information there, and then providing you all and keeping you all up to date on that. And then, again, continuing to learn more about legislation and things that are coming up. One of those things, I went the wrong way. Here we go. One of those things has to do with Amendment 2, and you all have copies of those pages in your notebook, just so you're aware. Carla attended a session that was presented by KSBA, so giving some information about what we can and cannot do around Amendment 2, and so that's just for your information. And as you read in the frequently asked questions, like you all are allowed to, on your own personal Facebook pages, kind of, or social media, share information about Amendment 2. For those of you all in the audience, there is outside on the table the page Understanding Amendment 2. So if anybody wants to pick that up, just to get an idea of what Amendment 2 is, that will be on the ballot in November. So we just want to inform people and make sure everybody's aware what they're voting for, when that vote comes. All right. There we go. Okay. I want to share a little bit, and Julie, I want you to jump in to help share this. We had some visitors in our district earlier this week from Meade County. Kellyanne Wilson, I went blank on her last name, and Mark Adams from Meade County. We've been doing some work with them last year. Julie got us up and going with that process, and we were traveling to them in Meade County. She was able to work out this year where some of the sessions, they come to us. So we can go into the classrooms. It was a mad dash that day. We visited 4 schools, 4 classrooms per school. It was a snapshot in and out of those classrooms, but in less than 3 hours. So yeah, it was a quick turnaround. But what we were able to do is kind of get some, here's some great things that are happening, and here are some next steps for us around this work. So that just is, I wanted to showcase that and share a little bit of that day with you all. And then this, in light of, the events that have kind of happened. I just wanted to bring it to your attention, review back again our policy around assaults and threats of violence. And again, for those of you in the audience, if anybody wants a copy of that, I put some copies out on the table as you walk out the door. So some of that, so you have that information as well. But I want to make sure everyone realizes that there are steps that we are required to follow. There are procedures that we have in place, and that this policy, along with the law KRS 158, 155, like there are things we need to do and have to do in this process to ensure that our students are safe. So I really just wanted to put this back in front of you so you can remember.
Can this be posted on the Facebook, Carla?
Yes.
The whole thing?
Yes.
Can you do that?
Yeah, that happens.
Thank you.
Yeah, we will absolutely do that. And again, just to kind of make everybody aware, if you have any questions, don't hesitate, any of you all, to reach out to me, and I'll do my best to answer those questions. That's me, yeah. Okay. That's all I have. Oh, except for attendance. Sorry, I knew I was missing something. Alex is at a DPP conference this week, so he is not able to be here. You all have in your binder the attendance for the first month. Understanding that the first month that's listed here is really our first 5 days of school, is what we got in that first month. So you will see that our district percentage for that first month was 96.95%. Our enrollment noted there is 4215. And I wanted to point out, I asked him to pull some numbers for me. Enrollment, let me find it. The end of the year enrollment for 23-24 was 4174. So we are up a little on enrollment. And then I asked him to pull, where's that? I don't have that number. He pulled for me, I'm not finding that percent. Oh, 4244. So this time last year, the percentage that we had, or the number that we had, was 4244. But just to note that number, there were 40 more students at Job Corps than are currently here. So that's where some of the difference in that number would be, the Job Corps students there. We had High Attendance Day on September the 12th. And of course, we congratulated Longest Elementary School for having the highest attendance on that day. And they were at 97.83% on that. And then for the last couple of days, I've kind of shared, kind of kept you all up to date. We've been about 93, 94% attendance each day for the last couple of days.
Where's the lowest, sir? What school is the lowest?
It's typically the high school.
High school right now?
Yeah. I say typically. Last year they had several months that they were up, but right now, high school, well, and I say up, like low, they're 96%, which is really not.
No.
Right,
No,
but if you
no.
put in the order of,
Yeah.
aside from the Renaissance Center, and some of that is the virtual students, maybe who don't come in and that kind of thing, so.
That's good.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms.
Yeah,
Orr.
thank you all.
And I will note that the personnel actions have been given to the board and they will be placed in the minutes. Okay, we're ready for board action items. The first is to consider contract for speech language therapy services. Ms. Julie.
Hello. I'm here to talk about speech again. Just to give you all an update, we had approximately 850 kiddos in our district who require special education. And of those 850, about 600 require speech therapy. Speech therapy is an up and growing profession. If anyone out there is interested in speech therapy, you should go into that profession because you'll never want for a job. But we are constantly looking for staff to cover those needs. We've had some part-time speech therapy assistant. And then we've contracted with Southern Kentucky Speech Therapy for another full-time speech therapist, and that only gives us coverage for about 455 students. So we are in the process of creating new contracts for those additional speech therapists that can work with us. Tonight, I'm bringing before you a contract for speech therapy with Thatcher, and so you have a copy of that in your board packet. And so I hope that you look at that, review that, and then give us permission because we really need those services. Any questions?
Any questions for Ms. Penley? I need a motion to enter into this contract with Carrie McPherson to provide speech and language services to eligible students under the direction of the Director of Special Education. I have a motion. Have a second? Second by Mr. Joe Hart. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you, Ms. Penley. Next on the agenda is to approve the pledge of collateral agreement for years 25 and 26.
This is the pledge of collateral between Farmers Bank and Trust and the Board of Education. I did have a little bit of, not really trouble getting it, just it was some back and forth because the way they do their pledge of collateral is, they use sweep accounts, and they have a FDIC insured sweep account for up to $250,000 for each school, so they could have up to, there'd be numerous accounts that the money is swept into. So that is why I have that to you now. But this is where the pledge of collateral between the Farmers Bank Trust and the Board of Education.
Thank you. Any questions? I need a motion to approve this pledge of collateral between Farmers Bank and Trust and the school board. I have a motion by Ms. Farr. Second by Mr. Bowers. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed. And you're up again to approve the working budget.
This is the final iteration of the budget for the 2025 fiscal year budget cycle. That's the working budget. So we're on budget considerations, any revenues and expenses reviews. So the revenue line item notables. Increased the interest revenue by about $524,000. It was at $900,000, $70,000, so about $1.5 million. I will say that right now, the fact that we are holding cash is helping us tremendously on the interest revenue, which is actually preventing us from needing to do other items to increase revenue. Now, so we're having our funds work for us. The other part of that I do want to mention is that you'll notice that we do have a significant amount of cash. However, there are things that are coming down the pipe that are the unpredictables that we've been trying to plan for in the last 6-7 years. So I'm okay with that right now. And I also will add that we are, the last time I looked, we are still around between 20 and 25 lowest tax rate of all the 173 districts that have tax rates. So I feel good about that.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Just on the bank balances, I
Yes.
know, is that a floating rate? I know rates dropped yesterday with the Federal Reserve, so is it tied to that?
It's a Fed Fund plus.
It's plus, okay,
Yeah.
so likely will drop.
Yeah, yes, but we're hovering really between 140 and 160,000 monthly
Okay.
on the interest rate, so.
Mr. Buttinger, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
What are the unpredictables?
Really, the largest one that's looming out there is TV. I hate going back, and I hate sounding like a broken record on the TVA thing, but it really is. I'll just kind of go through it again really quick. When about 3 years ago, they told me that I should expect, about 3 years ago, we got 6.2 million. And they told me that the next year I should expect an increase in actually, an increase, yeah, I'm sorry, it was 6.3 million, that's an expected increase. And that is when they blew up they took down the wash plant, I believe, out of TVA. And the conveyor belts and all that, that's when they demolished all of that. They said I should be expecting an increase. Well, the very next year, we got 6.2 million. And so, as logic would have it, the very next year they imploded the cooling towers, which are significantly larger than the wash plant and the conveyor belt. So that's when I thought, well, okay, I'm going to predict 5. And at that point, that's when that was last year, and then we got that $7.8 million. And so I went back to the state and I said, I'm grateful that we're getting this amount, but, you told me 2 years ago that I should be expecting an increase, and that went down. And then now I get this big jump after other things have been torn down. What I've been told by the state is that we will continue to get everything based off that full amount until everything is torn down, not as things come down, which is in contradiction to what they originally told me. They said as things were coming down, I should expect less and less coming in. So now the story has changed on the state's part. Now, TVA, when they wrote everything off 4 or 5 years ago, that changed the amount that came into the state. That has not changed. So the only thing that helps us out is if another state has a plant shut down or anything like that. So there's 9 states. It's based, when it comes to our state, it's 50% of the revenue that they generate and 50% on their assets. So there's that determines the piece of the pie that we get. Once it comes to our state, it's based on the assets that are in your county, the original value of the assets. So like as things come down, so it doesn't matter. They say it's the original value of the assets and your tax rate. So we got a double-edged sword, so we got the fact that we have lower tax rates actually, let's say, kind of hurt us in the past because we could have gotten more from TVA, but we still got plenty. So that's not to say that. So then as we move forward, they took the stacks down, last month, or the month prior. But the buildings that house the generators themselves are still standing. So I think that's the last thing that's really out there of significant size that really is part of that. And once those come down, that's when I expect it to drop precipitously. Now, with that said, they put the dual cycles gas plants out there. Those assets have been added, but the problem with that is they valued the majority of that asset in manufacturing, and without getting really into the weeds, we get the value that comes back to us. There's several buckets that they have. There's manufacturing, property, transmission, and another bucket that doesn't help us. The one that helps us the most is property. And so when they take and this is where I argue, I've asked the county to argue also on this, because when they put the majority of the value of the gas cycle plants and the new ones that they put out there, the other 3 generators that they put out there, they're putting it mostly in manufacturing. And that hurts us. So,
Has the county spoken with them?
I'm sorry?
Do you know that the county has spoken with them?
That I do not know. I've tried to, but I've talked to Matt and said, hey, but the other half of that though is I keep going back to them and saying, how is this different? To me, it's just a different vehicle. You're still putting different fuel. It's the same thing. So I'm trying to argue that the majority of it gets put in the property. And that's what I keep going back to every time. So I hope that, that's that's that really big unpredictable, which, TVA accounts for a little over 10% of our budget. So, I mean, that right there is, it's a, that's a big hit. So I challenge any other district in the state to lose 10% of their budget and not be able to do anything about it. Like, that's the big part, is that we have no control over that. So, and you can't, and I'll say, you can't physically raise taxes fast enough to make up $4 million. And not that anyone on the board is looking to do that, and that's not what I'm suggesting. However, I'm just saying that to lose that and not be able to gain that back is a big deal, which is why I also will defend the fact that we have our cash balance, which is at least supplementing some of that loss.
What do you anticipate rock bottom could be for TVA?
I've got an email that I can dig up that says 4.4 million.
I was 4 million jumped out my mind.
And
Would that be every year?
that's the number they gave me. I don't trust them because they've been so incorrect on everything. So that's why I'm really leery about putting out too much. That's where, and when that time comes, it'll be one of those things that really, I look at our cash balance as buying us time. It's going to buy us time to adjust and move forward. That's the big thing. And still maintain the level of education that our kids get, the quality of buildings, and the quality of staff that we're able to attract with our salaries. So, and I think that's a big factor in what I'm showing you guys tonight.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you.
So all fund revenues, so general fund is about 64 million. And that includes about 24 million was the beginning balance on that. I want to iterate that with that said, about between 44 and 46 million is what is spent annually coming in and out of our budget on the general fund. So construction fund is at zero, and the reason why is because we're looking to bond some of these projects until I have numbers from when we get bids in. I can't do that bonding, so I can't set up a budget and say, just arbitrarily come up with, in my mind, I've got about 10 million is what I'm thinking. I don't know, may or may not get anywhere near there, so I'm trying to keep under that. Food service, about 6.6 million. Community education is at zero. We have a line item for it. Building fund is at 1.7 million, and the capital outlay is 421,310. Those two combined together are what we use to make bond payments. So that's what that is for. Fund 2 is at 7.3 million, so overall.
We don't have any bonds right now.
I'm sorry?
We don't have any bonds right now.
We do.
Yeah.
We do, yes, sir. We had 2 roll off last year, which is helping us.
Okay.
And our bonding capacity is well over 20 million at this point. So we're not even gonna come close to getting to where we're hurting for cash in that respect. So I think, and it's good because the majority of our building fund and capital outlay cover all of our bond payments. There's also, it's called FSBK, which is the state gives us the funds to actually make the bond payments, and whatever those payments allow us the FSBK dollars. So I remember the last time we did it for the cafeteria, and it was about $750,000 if we all recall. So, and those come once every 2 years. So this year we should be getting another FSBK offer, and so I'll
Is that where we have to match? Or is that something else?
That is not a match. Now, the CATs, like the technology,
Okay.
yes, we
That's
match
something.
that. So, are there any questions on the revenue side? So expense line item notables, salaries increased by 1.6 million. That's from annualizing salaries right now. But I will say that a lot of that is in the form of sub-cost and additional teachers and staff that we had to add. So supplies at 1.1 million and properties at 1 million. I did add some, and especially especially in the property one, there's $750,000 still for the buses that are outstanding that we ordered, as they're coming in. I also budgeted for some more vehicles that are aging, so we've got some that are doing high mileage, and so like for bus garage maintenance and those sort of things. So and tech. So they've got a old van. So and decreases the contingency about $2.8 million. So general fund expenditures, instructions about $32.1 million. That is also where the majority of that increase in salary is. That's about 1.5 is what construction increased. Student support service about 1.8. Instructional staff support 2.2. District admin 2.3. School admin 3.1. Business services 1.4. Plant operation and maintenance, that's about 9.8. I did add a bit on energy costs just because historically we're probably going to be looking at a rate increase at some point here. But I will also be working with Derek and them to figure out ways that we've been able to shave off those energy costs and keep them down and flat. So I budgeted for it. I'm hoping that we don't get there. So just on that. Student transportation about 4.6 million. Seat dollars fund about 50% of that. So 2.3 is coming from the district. Food service operations, this is general fund, is about 52,000. Community services 346,000. Building improvements 35,000. And contingency about 19 million. One thing I did want to also add on some of the quick facts is our salary and fringe is about 81.4%. So that's of our general fund. That's a good number. That's a good number where we want to be. And that's where I take out I take out the beginning balance, that kind of stuff, and look at that. So I want to give you guys if I put the beginning balance in there, it'll be artificially low. So I want you guys to know that that's a good number. So, are there any questions?
Anyone have any additional questions for Mr. Blessing?
No problem.
Okay, I'll need a motion. I have it from Mr. Joe Hart, and I will second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed. Thank you. We're now down to our board consent agenda, which is to approve the minutes of the prior board meeting, surplus and disposal of broken and outdated technology equipment, consider contract with Puzzle Pieces, consider field trip request, and consider facilities use agreements. You all had a chance to review those in your packet. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, I need a motion for approval. I have it for motion from Mr. Bowers. Have a second?
Second.
Second from Mr. Joe Hart. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed. I just need a motion to adjourn now. Got a motion from Mr. Bowers. Second from Ms. Bart. Thank you all, and thank you all for coming out tonight. Thank you. We appreciate you coming.